Hi, I'm Katie Lee, and you're watching a podcast where nostalgia comes alive. It's Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. Roll it!
Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. Join Jake and his friends on a journey through pop culture of the past, where they interview professionals in the worlds of acting, directing, writing, puppeteering, and so much more. Who will they be chatting with today? Find out in this Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. Happy here with us. Thank you for joining. As always, I'm your host, Jake Deffenbach. With me today, as always, our co-host, Chris Bixby. How's it going, my friend?
Doing good. Hello, everyone. How are you, Jake?
Wonderful to hear, Chris. I'm doing great as always. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. And we had a wonderful interview for you folks of voiceover legend. Um, had a wonderful career in animation, but I'll let Jake tell you all a bit about it.
Yes, thank you very much, Chris. Oh my gosh, before I'm doing this, you all are watching and listening. You all gonna love this chat. It's a funny one and share a lot of wonderful and funny stories, a lot of laughs, and a lot of wonderful things in this episode. But I don't want to waste any more time. Today's guest we have for today is as a legend, like Chris said, a voice actor and many other things. Charlie Adler. Of course, we'll discuss a lot of things, his involvement in the voice acting world over years, such as Rocko's Modern Life, Ariel Monsters, of course, Cow and Chicken, Am Weasel, which is the projects I'm most known for, Brandy and Mr Whiskers, and a lot more. And of course, not just voice acting side of things, he's also got to be also a voice director, and he'll share a lot of wonderful stories from that aspect as well, and a lot more. So without wasting any more time, enjoy our chat with amazingly talented legend Charlie Adler. See you then. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. Today, we have us is amazingly Charlie Adler. Welcome, Charlie. Happy to have you
Hi.
here.
Thank you. How you doing?
We're doing great.
Yes, doing good. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Delighted to have you here as always. Really much appreciated. So to start this off, we know who you are, but for those who don't, could you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
No,
And
you tell them. I'm
we
not
do.
going to talk about myself. What are you, nuts? That's your job. I meant that. Go ahead.
Okay.
Tell them. I'll listen. I know who I am.
Well, for those who don't know, Charlie is a, voiceover legend. He's done, many projects from Tiny Toons to Tom and Jerry Kids, Rocko's Modern Life, Ariel Monsters, Brandy and Mr Whiskers. He's also a voice director, so we're excited to talk about, kind of that aspect of it too. So yeah,
Sure.
very, very excited for this conversation.
Thank you. See, wasn't that better? Well, you think I'm going to get on here and say, "Hi, I'm a voice legend." Really? Really? Interview 101. You do the introduction.
There you go. There you go. So now before
Yes,
voiceover,
sir.
what was your childhood like? Did you always want to be a voice actor? Like, was it something you ever
No,
thought you would do?
nope, never, never. I wanted to be several things. I absolutely wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to be a painter. I wanted to be a psychologist. I did want to become an actor somewhere around fifth grade. It occurred to me um, because my fifth grade teacher had been an actor. I was living in a suburb of New York, outside of New York City by about 18 miles. And so I had access to wonderful people who really kind of lifted me and pointed the way. And so, no, I didn't. And I didn't really watch cartoons. The only cartoon I ever really watched was Crazy Cat and maybe Popeye. But I was
Right.
addicted to Granny and the Beverly Hillbillies and uh, H.R. Puffin stuff and stuff that
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
lifted me. So now, weirdly, Witchy Poo, who Billy Hayes, who played Witchy Poo in H.R. Puffin stuff, became a lifelong dear friend of mine when I moved to California.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
Oh,
we
nice. That's
we
great.
became each other's family in many, many ways. And so it was odd because she was such a beacon of light for me and such a wonderful teacher in comedy and what to do and what not to do and how to do it, that it kind of I was kind of awestruck that we found each other. It's kind of wonderful. So that was my childhood, pretty
That's
much.
wonderful.
That's great. So now I'm kind of curious here. Whether is there like a specific mentor or a person in the industry that kind of like would like help guide you like early on
There were
when you
so
kind of first
many.
start off?
Well, Jake, I mean, honestly, there were so many, and I have to say that um, to anybody who's out there who's watching this, um, I gravitated to people who knew way more than me, and I gravitated, which I think is kind of lacking culturally now. I think in order to become something, you have to learn, you have to sit at the knees of people who have lived experientially in life and work wise, artistically. If you want to be a doctor, then you talk to doctors. But I was so lucky, and once again, because I lived so outside of New York City, there were so many people that I found or who found me. Yes, and so the answer is yes. One was a woman named Flo Greenberg who uh, called me her fifth son, who taught me acting when I was a young teen. Uh, Her remaining children, her remaining two sons, I'm still very, very close to, and their sons. And we're going back. I'm going to be 69, so we're going back 50 plus years, 54 years, maybe. Um, uh, I had an art teacher, Connie Frazier, two art teachers in junior high school, Connie Frazier and Julio Tubal. Connie Frazier is still a dear friend of mine. We were her first class out of college, so there was only about 8 or 9 years between us. And so I just saw her a couple of years ago in New York. We had an amazing lunch. We stay in touch via text, via cards, phone calls. She's very much, and she pointed the way for me in so many ways. She showed me
Oh,
what was
that's awesome.
possible. I mean, that's extraordinary to me. A woman named Imogene Coca, who I was cast opposite. She's a comic legend, a television pioneer with Sid Caesar on a show called Show of Shows. She, because I played opposite her, she taught me so much and she lifted me. And in fact, I met her when I was 19 and she died when I was maybe in my late 40s. So I had her for so much of my life. She pointed the way. She showed me so many things. I've had so many people. I've been so unbelievably lucky that I've learned from so many people, and I still do. I mean, I feel at this point that hopefully I've become that to other people. Hopefully I've become the mentor and the teacher because I still teach and I love to teach, but it really is essential, in my opinion, in any form, in forming any sense of being who you are, whatever your profession, that you fucking shut up and listen. And
Exactly.
listening is a
Yes.
big deal. It really is. It's a big deal. People have a lot to say when they're older because they've lived a lot. And so I learned early on to shut my big toilet and to listen. And it really, really, they changed the course of my life. Oh, really changed the course of my life in huge ways. And still, I still feel the ripple effect of what I've learned from them. Some of the things that they said to me 50 years ago didn't make sense then. Now it does.
There you go. So now what was your first like animation role?
My very first animation role was the original Spike the Baby Dragon in My Little Pony. There were specials that they had done in New York. This is before the series came out, and I auditioned for it. I was very prolific in New York as an actor. I did a ton of on-camera commercials, a ton of radio commercials. I was in several plays over the time that I was there, and so and I would be flown out to LA from New York to screen test for things for a series. Um, and because of that, there was no distinction between what kind of actor you were, a stage actor, a TV actor, a soap opera actor, a commercial actor. I was just an actor. So there was no voiceover. You're not a voice actor. So I just auditioned for this special. Spike the Baby Dragon. I got it. Who the fuck knew? So I got it. I did it. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I loved doing it. It was very exciting to me, but it was no different than anything that I had done as an actor in improv or actor in the theater or actor doing commercials. It was just an extension of what I knew how to do. I didn't understand how the actual technical machinations work, but I learned that on the job pretty quick, and that was that. So I didn't hear from them for a very long time. The special aired. I never saw it because, frankly, I didn't care. The reason I didn't care is it was so long in my past till it happened that I wasn't aware of it anymore. It was no longer in my radar. I went and did a play in New York on Broadway, and then I toured with it. And during the tour, I got a call from my agent that said they're doing a My Little Pony Part Two. And so they scheduled it for when I could get on it. I was touring, so I was in Philadelphia, luckily. I was on the East Coast. Took a train from Philly to New York, spent the night, woke up the next morning, did part two, got on the train, went back and went and did the show that night. So that was the first and only time. Years later, when I moved out here, the first job I had was Smurfs, was doing the Smurfs. Um,
Oh yeah, I love the
sweet.
Smurfs cartoon. Yeah.
It was sweet. And the
Absolutely.
cast was so exciting. I mean, there was just a thrilling group of old hookers. I mean hoofers. Kidding. They were just a bunch of amazing people that had lived and had done so many laughing people, so many comedy staples, so many comedy legends were at Hanna-Barbera. So I got to work with them and learn from them and play with them and dance with them, and many of them invited me into their life, and it became a very exciting event those early years at Hanna-Barbera. And then maybe a year or two or three into that, My Little Pony got picked up in Los Angeles as a 65 episode series. And I was here and they just gave me the part because I had originated it in New York in the specials. So it just was one of many shows that I did my first couple of years. It was very thrilling.
That's great.
That that's lovely. Now, I mean, of course, there might be a lot of moments like that that are experienced, but I kind of want to ask, were there like any like kind of like specific moments that you they kind of you felt that you started to feel that you had made it in industry? And that makes any sense?
You mean, did you say that I made it? Is that
Yeah,
what you said?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
any specific moments where you really felt that you kind of made it in the industry.
It's yet to happen. I've never felt that. I've never felt that's not even a phrase or a term that I understand because artists um, of all stripes and actors of all stripes are forever relearning, reproving themselves, rebranding themselves, growing. I've
Right.
never felt that I've made it. I don't even know what made it means. So for me, there have been different times in my life where I felt more successful than others, but those, like, a good career is like a bad EKG. A good life is like a bad EKG. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Nothing is
Right.
linear and nothing is a continuum of, I'm soaring now. It doesn't work that way. And I've been lucky enough to have very famous friends out here who I've watched have enormous success and then take a shit for 2 years when nothing came their way. So if you ask them, did they make it? They'd say, no. They won an Oscar. No, didn't make it. Just got an Oscar. So I don't see myself or my career as being defined by chapters of success or not success. In the aggregate, I consider myself lucky to have worked a great deal of the time. And when I haven't worked, I've had to find ways to sustain myself and to
Yeah.
extract some great things from my life without the success or making it. So no, no, I never even understand the fucking question.
That's all good. No worries.
Gotcha. Gotcha. No worries at all. So moving on to TaleSpin. What was it like getting to voice Mad Dog
It was
for
silly. It was
that? Like,
like
how was
everything else
that?
I've done. It's just silly. We had a great time. It was playful. The cast was wonderful. We laughed a lot, but that's true of most casts that I've been in. There have been very few experiences in animation that I was not, fully engaged with the cast and playful. There have been directors I haven't liked. There have been producers I haven't liked, but that doesn't infiltrate the joy that I feel in acting. And so I liked him. He was a weird character. He was fun. And I had a great time. I mean, that's really, I'm sorry for these kind of dull, pat answers, but honestly, nothing about that show stands out as, that was that was the show I loved. I loved every show I've done, mostly, mostly.
And talk about animation legends. I mean, Jim Agon and Mark Zaslav, who, were huge animation legends in Disney. They did a wonderful job on that show and all the shows that they created.
Yeah, yeah. Love Jim. He's so great.
Absolutely. So, one of your best known voiceover roles was voicing Buster Bunny on Tiny Toon Adventures, which of course was a Looney Tunes spinoff. What was that whole show like for you?
I didn't like it very much. I didn't. I loved the cast. I loved Tress and Cree and Frank, and we had such a wonderful time together. I didn't like a lot of what was going on because, think about this. It was produced by Steven Spielberg. It was his first animated project. The pressure that was caused inadvertently, not intentionally, just because his name was on it, the pressure was so high. And then I call it the Buddha syndrome. So when people are working for somebody that they consider as a deity, and poor Mr. Spielberg is considered a deity without meaning to, they don't act well. They don't act right. Their ambition blinds them. So they become, in my opinion, too ambitious. They start to behave badly. And so I experienced that, and I felt that was annoying as fuck to me. I didn't like the way people stopped behaving as people. They got very, it wasn't the perfect environment. It was creatively for sure. The writing was wonderful. The acting was wonderful. The
Oh
music,
yeah.
I mean, there was nothing
Right.
about that show that was not extraordinary except the experience. And so for me, it wasn't particularly a happy experience, but it came at a time when I personally really needed it. It helped me out tremendously. It gave me a cachet that helped me professionally further things. It was very good in so many ways, but in many ways it was unpleasant, and it was not the high point of my creative career for sure. It was the most visible at the time, and it was the most I think, lauded and respected within the industry. So it was a great pleasure to be a part of that. But the day-to-day circumstances surrounding it became more and more uncomfortable and pressurized for me.
Okay.
Gotcha. Understand.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I bet you never heard that one. This is the answer that people expect. It was wonderful. It was the best of my life. I never had a better time. Oh gosh, and gosh, I was so honored
Yeah.
to be a part of it. I can't believe they picked me. Horse shit.
Some people. People have it. Their experience that expect it or not.
Yeah.
Um. But anyway,
To each his own.
Yes.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, no worries at all. So now I'm moving on to the way to the Tom and Jerry franchise. Now, what was it like getting to voice Dripple for the
Oh, was
kids,
that was
Tom
that
and
Tom and
Jerry
Jerry? Was
kids?
that Tom and
Yeah,
Jerry? Oh, um,
Tom and Jerry kids. Yeah.
damn, who knew? Um, it was fun. I had a glorious time. I mean, I had, uh, oh God, Don Messick, who was a Hanna-Barbera staple and legend in his own right, played my father. And we just laughed the day away. And the cast was so great because it was Frank Welker as always the bad guy, Teresa Ganzel as always the damsel in distress. It was produced by Don Jurwich, who was one of the most lovely, great humored, creative, freestyle, free thinking people in a studio system. We had an absolute blast doing that show. What shocked me was I was doing my impression of Truman Capote, really. And they bought it. They fucking bought it. So how lucky was I? Um, that we did, I don't know how many episodes. It feels like we did like 50 something or 76 something. Anyway, we did a ton of them. And that was a wonderful experience. And I also did, I think, I don't know what this one was called. It was Captain Caveman and Son. And I was, and Son, and Mel Blanc was Captain Caveman. So he played my father. That was joyful.
Hmm.
That was
Nice.
a wonderful experience. But the Hanna-Barbera years is really where I learned a lot, uh, because I'd been on Smurfs and Gordon Hunt, who was the very prolific, gentle, sweet, kind, inspirational, wonderful director there. Um, so much of what came of that time came from Gordon. You know the expression, the fish stinks from the head down? Well, Gordon was the head of the fish, and so everything was so beautifully done and elegantly done, and he had such a wicked sense of humor, and was very kind and very. That's another mentor out here, as I think anybody who worked at Hanna-Barbera would say the same about Gordon. And so any show that I had mentioned, Droopy and Dripple and Captain Caveman, Smurfs, I think I did a show called Monster Tales with Jonathan Winters. That was just thrilling and fun. All of those shows were directed by Gordon, and all of them were a joy, an absolute joy to be a part of. It was creative, it was pleasurable, it was silly, there was no pressure to it. It was so free. It was so free.
Wow, that's wonderful. So
That's great.
now over the years there have been, a number of shows where you're not known for voicing one character, but like various different characters. So and one of those shows was the Disney show Bonkers. Can you talk a little bit about that show?
I can't. I don't remember it.
Really?
Yeah, I really don't. I don't think it, I don't, it didn't register. I went in, I did a couple of parts. I have no idea. You could tell me, you could tell me but who I played and I wouldn't remember it. Um, I honestly, I know I'm disappointing the shit out of you, but I don't remember.
That's okay.
You're good. I mean, it happens where like people we react like people about that particular project. So like, I didn't work on that. Did I? Or it must been a
It
long
didn't
time
register.
ago.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
and it
it
didn't register for
happens.
any particular reason. I know the show, and but I don't remember much about the sessions except I got to use myself, and I was lucky enough to be employed, and I would go from there to another show. I mean, Cow and Chicken, I played the Cow Chicken and the Red Guy and Baboon. That was exciting,
Oh
and that I
yeah.
could talk
Oh
about.
yeah.
But I Bonkers, you got me.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking it up on Bonkers. It says you voiced Police Light, Tiny, and Limo,
You could say I played Blatty Blatty Blat, and I'd still go, I don't fucking remember it. I don't remember it.
which is fine. I mean that show was a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Yes, it was, dear, a long time ago.
Yeah. So since we already mentioned about with Rocko's Modern Life, now what was it like, for what was that series like getting to
That
voice,
was wonderful. I
Ed and
love
Bev
that. I
Bighead?
I love that. I mean, I could tell you, I think I was Ed and Bev, and I think I played Mr. Dupet, Ed's boss, and I played Grandpa Wolf and a couple other. Oh, and Hippo Lady, uh, who was a Southern gal who kind of went, "How dare you?" I can't remember much more about that, except the cast was wonderful. Sadly, I recorded that show alone. And I
Oh,
recorded that show
gotcha.
alone because I was so busy, luckily for me, that I couldn't spend a 4-hour session with Tom Kenny and Mr. Lawrence, Doug Lawrence, and Carlos Alazraqui, who were just
Oh
thrilling
yeah,
and brilliant.
Oh
I
yeah,
love I love
they're all
Carlos.
wonderful. Yeah, Carlos is a previous guest too. We've had him on. He's wonderful.
He's a wonderful man, and he's a great friend. But we never got to record alone. We didn't get to record alone because of my schedule. So I don't
Hmm.
have much memory about playing with the guys, except wonderfully we got to do the most recent special together, the Static Cling together. That was a blast. We got to do
Oh
San Diego
yeah.
Comic Con together. That was a blast because we really do in deep ways love and respect each other. It's not casual what we feel for each other. So when we're together, it feels so great and relaxed and fun, and so I missed that in the original records, but we got it. You know, we've done some public appearances and stuff together, so it feels like the old rock band together. It's really, really great.
Yeah, I
That's really
remember there was
cool.
like a Comic-Con appearance where you guys like read through the Wacky Deli two-parter episode. I thought that
We
was
did?
really cool.
Oh, good. I don't remember that, but good.
Yeah, that's a really funny episode. Um, so another show that you are most known for, and I actually have the DVD set for it right here, was voicing Ickis on Ariel Monsters.
Oh, I
What
love
was
that.
that like?
That was bliss. That was bliss. First of all, Klasky Chupo at that time had, and when I tell you, a tiny recording booth. When it was, if you pictured, you probably even know what a fucking phone booth is, you're so young, but if you pictured four phone booths lined up together in one open space, that's how big it was. That was it. And they
Yeah.
had
Okay.
Christine Cavanaugh, who was one of my nearest and dearest in life, and David
Uh,
Eccles in that booth doing the characters at the same time. We would cry from laughter. And the joy was Chuck Swenson, who was our director, the sweetest, sweetest, wonderful man, and so brilliant in so many ways, gave us such latitude. And the producers did, and the network did. So it was like a feeding frenzy. We were just idiots. And we would just spend our time laughing our asses off. And weirdly, Tim Curry played Zimbo. Zimbo. And Tim always said to me he did it like an Argentinian gigolo. And I was at Tim's house, which I'm there a lot, but I was there this one particular time recently, and I said, Tim, do you know that Ariel Monsters is and, on so and so network? You remember the episode we did where Ickis and Zimbo were alone together and had to be.
right.
Uh, and he saw it. I watched it with him. He was laughing so hard out loud, as was I. I didn't really realize until Paramount Plus. By the way, who watches Paramount Plus besides, three other people? But Paramount Plus had the library of all of our real monsters. And um, I hadn't seen the show when in the original airings. I had never seen it. So when I saw it was on, and we're talking about, 20 years later after I had done it, I got curious and I thought, well, let's just see. I'm paying for this goddamn fucking Paramount Plus. Let me make use of it. So I went on and I saw uh, Our Real Monsters, and I was so taken by the one. It was just gorgeous to look at. I mean, the artists were spectacular. The music was insane. The sound effects, the Foley was absolutely amazing. The timing, the animation direction was brilliant. And then, if I do say so myself, all of the performances were absolutely hilarious. And I watched it as if it wasn't me. I just watched it, and I was LOLing. It was cracking me up. It really was cracking me up. I was astonished, and I ended up watching every episode. And I went, wow. I
Ooh.
mean, I understand why it was successful. It never occurred to me. You know, we do our stuff, and somewhere between 9 months and a year later, it comes out. We've moved on. We're all of us who work a lot, who are lucky enough to work a lot. when a project is over, we continue working in different things, and so our energy and our
Yeah,
attention.
like on to the next
Yeah,
project.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And so I didn't really have, I guess I might have had curiosity if I wasn't so goddamn busy, but I was lucky enough to be busy. So I didn't see stuff. And then my curiosity just waned. It was like, oh yeah, yeah, that happened. I had no idea that the body of work that I had generated really meant something. It really means something to me that it meant something. I didn't know. I honestly didn't know. And it wasn't that I didn't care. I just didn't have the time to indulge myself and aren't I swell? And gee, they love me. I didn't give a shit. I was busy and I had a life. And so, job, life, job, life.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, so now, what was for you being involved in like, kind of like a McDonald's type of related project, the Wacky Adventures of Ron McDonald, again to voice of Hamburglar and various other characters for that
Well, that was another
show.
one that didn't really ring any of my bells. I was at Klasky Chup. I was very lucky to be there, and I was lucky to be their director of choice. So, but the material itself didn't particularly thrill me. It didn't sway me in a negative way. It was just like, oh,
Right.
McDonald's, McDonald's, really.
Right,
Uh,
yeah.
I had done the Hamburglar in some of the commercials prior
Oh,
to
okay,
that,
cool.
but that was,
Okay.
prior to that. And then they
Right.
wanted a reinvention of that character, and I was lucky enough to be given that chance. But again, I have very little memory of that because it wasn't it wasn't something that made me go, "Oh my God, I'm doing McDonald's videos! Hold me back!" None of that.
And it was
I
very
was
short-lived too.
What a shame.
Yeah.
And I went to work. I went to work. It's my job. So I give it everything I have when I'm in it. Whatever I feel about it, it's not my business. My business is to do my job with everything I have, and then I'll have feelings about it in an interview. But honestly, it didn't
Yeah.
register in a big way on my personal scale, on my artistic scale, on my it wasn't like it. McDonald's.
Right.
Fucking McDonald's. The guy showed up in Ronald drag, nicest guy. And I thought, I'm in here with a fucking clown. I'm in here not with any clown, with Ronald McDonald. What? So I
Wow.
had a lot of laughs internally. I mean, I
Right.
had to behave myself and not say what I wanted to say, but I didn't. Um,
Mhm.
but I had a I mean, here it is, guys. I have such a great time when I work. Mostly, I've told you when I didn't,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
mostly, even the things I don't remember, I know I had a good time. It's just not my nature to not have a good time. I just love to work. I love working. It thrills me. It thrills me more now than it ever did.
That's wonderful.
Oh,
So,
that's great. That's great. I mean, I remember I got to like watch like couple episodes of that series a while back. But that show was pretty like a cool concept where it kind of had like the first half can be like from like live action of Ronald McDonald and
Oh,
his
right.
dog and all, and then the rest would be all kind of like a animation. So it's kind of a
I'm glad it
unique
registered for
project.
people. I mean, I'm glad that it registered for you, and I'm glad that people, it certainly did well. People liked them. I'm happy for that. But in terms
Right.
of, in terms of my own taste, sometimes I have done things that I just and again, it gets 10,000% of me, but it doesn't necessarily reflect my personal taste. Too
Yeah.
bad,
gotcha.
you know?
Gotcha.
And
Right.
I think that was one of them.
Right. So,
Exactly.
I'm
well,
going to hell. I know it. I'll never work
You're
again.
not. No, Charlie, don't
Oh,
worry. Don't worry about it.
Ronald is going to call me.
uh, so a moment ago, of course, you mentioned Cow and Chicken. So where you got to voice obviously Cow, Chicken, the red guy, IR Baboon. What was it like getting to do that show? Because that show, obviously, I remember
What
watching
a
that
blast.
vividly. It was such a wonderful show, such a
Well,
fun show.
first of all, David Feast, who is to this day one of my dearest friends, he is family, and his family is my family, and his kids are my kids. And um, because of that show. It was his first, as a creator, his first show, and we were doing the pilot, and it was a pilot's program at Hanna-Barbera, which I think was spearheaded by Fred Seibert, and it was such a joyful, creative time. And once again, we did the pilot, and I had a blast. And what shocked me is that they cast me in all three parts. What I found out years later was that the network, in their infinite wisdom, said, "No, no, you can't give the same actor three parts. No, no, no." Knowing that they didn't want to be held up, knowing that they were terrified, I'd ask for $1.09 more. No, no. Well, it was funny because Mel Blanc did it. Nobody carried on like fucking idiots. So I found out years later. I didn't know that in real time. David fought for me was the punchline. And because of David fighting for me, I was over the moon, and I got a chance to do, in my opinion, some of my best work of my career. I had the most fun I've ever had, the most freedom I've ever had, the most joy I've ever had. The friendships that came out of it that lasted, that still last, or friends that I knew going into it, it was an absolute thrill. It was an absolute thrill. And creatively, David just unleashed me. He just let me do my shit. And we just danced. Chris Zimmerman was the director, and she and I have been dear friends forever. And we laughed. I mean, we all laughed all day, all 4 hours. But it was an exhausting show, going back and forth between the characters in a good way. It used me. It used me in the best possible way. And so, to be rode hard and put away wet at the end of the day is something that really feels extraordinary. And that's what that show was. It was so joyful. But we had done the pilot, and I forgot about it. And then I get an invitation to an evening of the pilot program. And some of the pilots that came out of that program, I think, were Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab, and there was something else. I can't remember. Oh, Johnny Bravo. Duh.
Right, yeah.
And those all showed that night we all hauled ass to the Academy in North Hollywood, and we went, and I didn't know what to expect. And I was sitting in the back row with my friend John Olson, and we were just having a couple of laughs. And I was watching these pilots going, "Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, that's cute. That's cute. Yeah, good. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, great." And then they got to, I think they ended the program with Cow and Chicken, and I went, "That's all right. That's all right. Good." The audience was screaming. I was micromanaging myself, going, "Oh, that sucked." Well, that was all right. You could have done better. That's all right. Well, good luck. Never thought about it. I swear to you. Left, went out, had dinner, got drunk, didn't give a shit. Then I got a call. It got picked up. What? I was over the moon. And so that began this very long relationship, which is still going with David. But it also gave me something that no other show really had given me before, in my opinion, and that was full throttle use of myself. And as an actor, you couldn't ask for anything more than that. So I got this wonderful chance to be hyper creative, hyper nuts. Nobody sat on me, nobody squashed me, nobody told me to shut up and sit down. It was joy. It really was blissful joy. So I think of anything that I've ever done, that probably is the one that I remember everything about.
That's great. If you're fine
That's so
doing it,
great.
of course, is it fine if we can hear a bit of Cow, Chicken, Red Guy,
No,
and
you
Baboon?
cannot do, big brother. I do not like to come out into public places. Would you like to count my teats? Yeah, count your own teats, you dumbass. Cow, my sister, my big bovine, fat, large sister.
Ooh, oh, both of you are so foolish. Oh, ooh, that hurts so good. I don't like anybody at all. And don't forget me, boneless chicken. Who can say, really? That's it, baby.
There you go.
That's
That's
great.
wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
Uh,
you.
well, you're very welcome, Charlie. Anyway,
Well, they get to come out and play. They got to come out and play. That was nice for them.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
thank you. Anyway, so now transition to the spin-off I Am Weasel. What was it like getting to, voice those characters again for
Oh, it
that
was so wonderful.
series?
It was so wonderful because they incorporated me. The red guy turned out being in all of them, which cracked me up. So I loved the red guy. I got a chance to play. Michael Dorn is the sweetest and the best, and we just had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. We laughed our asses off. We had a great time. We love each other. We loved each other then. We love each other now. And it was again, it was part of that creative spirit that David brought to, if the fish head stinks, it again, pu, but it didn't. It all filtered down into absolute joy. And I don't know in particular the battles that David had to endure, pardon me, he said burping, behind the scenes, but I will tell you that he won most of them that mattered to me that I could see. And creatively, it was so spectacular.
No,
And the
it's wonderful.
writers, Michael Ryan, Steve Marmel, Robert Alvarez, the animation director. It was just the ingredients were so good. The ingredients were great.
Absolutely.
That's great.
So in the children's world, I guess it's kind of a deep cut in a way because it was, I guess, also maybe short-lived, but you also voiced Mr. Hornsby and Podrick Winks on Jaker's The Adventures of Piggly Winks for PBS. Can you talk a little bit about that, if you
That
can
was a
remember?
blast too. That was wonderful. We had just a wonderful time. Tara Strong, the late Lucy Taylor, who was an angel from heaven. Miley Flanagan,
Yeah.
hilarious woman.
Oh yeah.
Um, we we had so much fun together, and we misbehaved terribly. A lot of our behavior would be considered illegal in most states, and would be certainly considered antisocial. But because we are just gypsies, we just behave badly in a good way. Gypsies, meaning gypsies was a term used for people in the theater, dancer singers who went from show to show to show. That's what the phrase is an homage to. It's not a, a racist or a it is an honorable term to be a gypsy. All of us were in the theater at some point. All of us knew how to navigate each other. So because of that, we were bawdy as hell, filthy, disgusting, badly behaved children. And our director Kelly Ward, who himself a gypsy, one of the sweetest people. He's in the movie Grease. If you ever see Grease, he plays
Yeah, yeah.
Judy. He plays Judy, an ignoble name, but he doesn't smell like Judy.
Right.
And he is the sweetest person. But he would just sit there and laugh and roll his eyes. And a lot of it he didn't notice because we would do it between takes. But we had a dialect coach, Peter. Oh my God, I just went up at his name, and I love him and his wife Kira. Oh God, they were both on the show. Anyway, Anderson, Peter Anderson, and we would do a line. And I would say, let me kiss my ever-loving hairy ass. And he would say, oh no, it's kiss me ever-loving hairy arse. And I'd look at him and I'd say, shut up, knowing he was right. But I tortured him. Whatever he said, I would go, oh, shut up, just because I could. And I loved him. It sounds like a weird thing to say. So we were always needling each other, the whole cast. It was wonderful. We had a blast. And the product was pretty terrific. I thought it was a pretty sweet show. I really do. And
Oh
Miley
yeah.
wonderfully won the Emmy for it, which she deserved. She was extraordinary in that show.
Oh yeah, for
Oh
sure.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I think I might have vaguely remember watching that show because I think when the show kind of like stopped airing was kind of like when I was like kind of like first started watching periods. That time I was like kind of like way younger in that time, but I do remember my do of course her of the show, of course, but vaguely that I might did watch it when it was actually airing, but I remember it was a sweet show,
It was
like you just
sweet. Mel
said.
Brooks was a guest on that. He had a part on it.
Yeah.
It was not a guest. He was a regular. It
Right.
just was a sweet, sweet cast. It was lovely. We had a great time. We had a
Yeah,
great time.
and Mike Young, he's a previous guest who created the show. He's
Yeah,
Yes, I
yeah,
wonderful.
love
Mike
Mike.
Young.
He's
Mr.
Yeah,
such a good
Young.
man.
He's
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 such a good
wonderful.
man.
he really
Yes, he
is.
is.
I
Yeah,
worked a
yeah.
lot for him over the years.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, if you want, we let him know that you said hello.
I didn't say hello. I said he was a wonderful man. And I loved him. Now I'll say hello. Hello, Mike. Now you can say it. Don't
There you
misquote me.
Okay,
There you go.
got it now.
Yes.
So now, so what now? What's it like getting to voiced for the main kind of like one of the main characters, Mr. Whiskers and Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. Like, what was that? Like.
That was wonderful. Kaylee Cuoco is a miracle. She's a
Oh yeah.
miracle.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
And of course,
she is,
for what she did with,
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory and all the other wonderful projects
Mm-hmm.
she was in.
and
Yeah.
continues to be, and I direct her now in Harley Quinn on Max, and I also play her father on it. She is the sweet. She's just what I don't have enough superlatives. She's brilliant. She's a brilliant businesswoman, which is astonishing. She is a an animal rights activist. She is an angel person, and she is a brilliant, brilliant actor. So Brandy and Mr. Whisker, she was 18, and by then I was an old jaded fart. And I I showed up, and there was this girl. I didn't watch TV. I didn't know she was on that show with John Ritter. I didn't pay attention. And so I went up to the director and I said, "Who the hell is that?" And he told me, and I said, "Oh Christ, is she a Disney star?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Oh goody." And I went in and I sat down, and she opened her. I say this to her. She opened her big flapping toilet, and out came gold. And she blew my mind. I mean, within the first scene, I was going, "Who is this person?" Well, we ended up just laughing and making each other laugh for the entire series. Had a glorious time. She's so wonderful and so dear, and we became part of each other's lives as a result of that show. And Alana Ubach, who is also another brilliant fucking genius performer, we all sort of bonded on that show. And it I felt it was lightning in a bottle. I don't think it was given much due as it should have been by Disney at the time. But nonetheless, I'm still very proud of that show and the work we all did. We had a glorious time. That was a lot of fun. See, I can remember some things. See,
Right, there you go. So,
Yeah.
so, so yeah, so on a similar note, this one's also kind of a real deep cut because this again was very short-lived, but I remember watching it actually on PBS. What was it like voicing Savo in Danger Rangers?
the hell is that?
So Danger Rangers, it was a show. It starred like a bunch of animals who would kind of
Oh,
like
oh,
teach kids
oh,
about
oh.
like safety.
Yeah, I do. What was it like? I don't know. It was a job. I had fun. I had
Uh,
fun. I had a good time. I was playing sort of a Jonathan Harris type character, if I recall correctly, and who I loved personally. So he died. I got to sort of pay homage to him. Um,
right,
we
yeah.
had a fun time. There was a lot of, you know, I know this sounds, and I want to be careful that I don't sound like a complete asshole when I say things like this, but because I'm so invested when I'm working, and I know that I'm there, and I know I'm having a great time, and I'm free falling, I'm sort of dancing and interacting and being bawdy and disgusting. There are some shows just because of the way that they're recorded that have less of an impact on me, and I can't explain it anymore. Not that it doesn't make them bad or not great or not wonderful. I do remember some of the show, but I don't remember a lot of the cast. I
Right. It
think,
was Kevin Michael Richardson, it was Gray
oh,
Delisle, Rob
oh,
Paulson, Mark
oh,
Hamill.
geez. I mean,
a lot of wonderful names.
yeah, what an idiot that I don't
Oh,
remember that.
absolutely.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't remember it. And I think a lot of it may have been that I came in and recorded separately. So a lot
Hmm.
of what
Okay.
my experience has been that my schedule didn't always allow me to interact with the cast, or I would have more of a memory. I think I just figured that out when you said that. I don't know that I had been there for the entire records, or that
Hmm.
everybody else was in for the entire records. My guess is that all of us would sort of come in and out depending on our schedule, sometimes see each other, sometimes not, and sometimes I would just come in and do multiple episodes if I hadn't been available for the ensemble records. So it's possible that that's what really happens. So I'm not being a total idiot, nor am I being disrespectful to the project. I think that's more likely than not. Is why I don't have a big memory of it.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. No worries at all. So now, what's it like, it's kind of interesting to ask now, what's it like to voice, various characters for the Transformers franchise? What's it like kind of like being involved in those?
Well, it was exciting. I mean, I had done the original series in 1473, I think it was. I think it was like 3,000 years ago. All I remember was being so scared. Uh, it was a room full of heavyweights, and I didn't really feel like I necessarily fit in. Weirdly, I'm doing my first convention, the Transformers convention in LA in March, I think March 8th. So it'll be kind of exciting to see some of the people. But
Hmm.
my memory of it was directed by a man named Wally Burr, who had been a sergeant in the Army and who ran his shows like we were in the Army, which was helpful because a lot of the stuff was kind of militaristically based and all that. GI Joe I also did with him,
Yeah,
and Gem
yeah.
and the
Hmm.
Holograms I did. That was the whole other genre. But um, I was nervous a good deal of the time, uh, and I remember the records went on forever, forever, forever. It took so fucking long to record one of those episodes. I wanted to kill myself, and everybody in the cast did too, by the way. Loved Wally as we did. He just went on. They could get a full 8 hours out of us after they did the table read, which bored everybody into a coma. Then we recorded the show. Now we don't do the table reads much. We just jump into the show. So I do remember that. And then decades later, uh, I auditioned for Starscream for Michael Bay
Right.
and did the trilogy. Don't ask me the names of the movies, but that was fun. I had a wonderful time, and Michael was very creative and collaborative and playful and silly and took time and let us sort of go about it. What was different about those? So when we did the series in the 80s, we worked from the script and then they animated to us. The feature they had already animated all the Decepticons. And
Hmm.
so uh, when I came in, I had to make the dialogue fit the picture or add things to the animation that didn't exist. So it was a lot of fun. And if you picture standing on a sound stage with a screen, massive screen in front of you, and then you see the being that you're inhabiting, and you hear beep, 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 talk. That's where the three beeps suggests the fourth beep is where you fit your line, and that's called ADR, automatic dialogue replacement. If you don't know, audience out there, that's how that works. So it was all ADR. It was all after it had been animated and shot. So that was kind of exciting because I already you knew from what was going on around you and what the shots were, what the energy that was needed for the scene was. It was already set. So you didn't have to guess that. That was a very different way of working. And that was fun. And I really liked Michael Bay a lot. And I was astonished because one of the movies we had done, and I don't remember which one, it wasn't at a studio, it was at his personal studio. So I drove there, and these two massive Rhodesian Ridgebacks greet me, and I love dogs, so I was very engaged with the dogs. And then Michael ushers me in to a very small edit bay where I had to do repair a couple of things that they had done that technically were messed up. So now I went from this giant, giant screen to what would be maybe a 20-inch television computer screen, right? But what I saw on that screen, which I didn't see when I was doing the movie, was the level of detail that was put into the designs of the robots, which blew my mind. Now, I don't even know how to fucking work my toaster. So what I'm going to say surprises me because I think it's called, is it called terabytes?
Terabytes, yeah.
Terabytes. And
Yeah.
he mentioned some number of how many terabytes there were, and I went, that's a lot, right? I'm so stupid. But, the guy, the editor was so lovely. He said, well, a regular byte is a byte. And then he told me the next level, the next level. By the time he got to terabytes, my head was exploding because then I understood how much computer information was stored in those shots. That was mind blowing to me. I thought that was pretty extraordinary. The work that went into those films was really amazing.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
I mean,
Awesome.
full circle, full circle. I figured it started in the '80s, and then whenever those happened, I couldn't tell you the years.
Hmm.
That was kind of fun.
Absolutely. And you also voiced various characters on another Cartoon Network show that I remember watching so much as a kid was the Superhero Squad show, which had
Hmm.
like, all the Marvel characters. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Um, I will if you tell me who I played.
So, there was like Doctor Doom and
Yes,
Captain
yes, yes, yes,
Britain. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Doctor Doom, and then his mother Coco Von Doom. Um, and I don't remember who else, but the point being, that was a blast. We had a wonderful time, absolutely wonderful time. What I do remember, I think the most about this is I think the audition, I didn't know it was a comedy. So I didn't. And so I got this piece of copy and it said Latvian accent or Middle European accent. So I did something like this. I don't remember exactly what I did, but I thought that the character was very serious and very dark and blah, blah. And luckily they knew me, so they called me back. And when I got in there, Jamie Simone said, Charlie, this is a comedy, right? I said, what? Then write it funny. What's so fucking funny about it? It's not funny. A sure way to get a job, guys, right?
There
Funny,
you go.
huh? Where's the funny? Write it better. Good, Charlie. Good move. But they left, and then, but then I got it. Something kicked in, and I got it. And then it was the audition turned. I got in the audition. I think this is right. I think this is the show. Anyway, we ended up having so many laughs. If this is the show with oh god damn it. Oh. This is Stan Lee's stuff, right?
Yeah.
Marvel, yeah.
Yeah.
Who is on the show? Steve Bloom. Is Steve Bloom on it?
Steve Bloom, Jim Cummings, Greta Lyle, Tom Kenny,
Yeah.
Tara Strong.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. And Anthony Del Rio, right?
Uh, I'm not
Oh, please say
sure.
yes. Oh shit.
Not sure if
And
he was on
I
it.
think I think I think we're talking about the same show. It was a blast. It
But
was a blast. We laughed a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot.
yeah, it was a very, very neat show.
It was the naughty, naughty group of people. Very naughty. Oh, oh shit. Came in, went out. Alamy Ballard.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
wonderful. I mean, we really had a wonderful time. Yes, 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 yes. I do remember it. I do believe in ghosts. I do. I do.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. I did. I get a gold star.
That's the answer.
So over the years, you've done a lot of voice acting for video games. How would you kind of compare voice acting for cartoons to video games in terms of like recording? if there is
I
like
don't,
any
I
real
don't, did I
comparison.
do video games? I haven't done them in decades, and I think I stopped doing them because they and by the way, they're on strike now for good reason, very good reason, because
Oh yeah. Hmm.
it was a
Right.
very abusive, physically abusive system where you would just scream and scream and scream and scream. And so I
Yeah.
just told my agent one day, I'm not doing them anymore. I can't. I cannot, I can't sustain this. It kills my voice for other shows that I'm actually working on. So I'm out. I'm out. So
Gotcha.
I think the last video game I voiced was the Lascaux cave paintings in France. I don't remember anything. I really don't remember doing many uh, video games. I don't know what you have listed. I don't know what IMDb says, but they're never right. Um, I honestly don't. There's one I kind of remember because I liked the character, and I don't remember having to scream a lot. There was a lot of acting going on, um, but I couldn't tell you the name of it, and I couldn't tell you the name of the character. But I had a good time doing that one, whatever the hell it was. But the what it's evolved to now uh, is very cinematic, wonderful, grounded acting, and the people who do them are extraordinary. They have really wonderful actors on them, and it's evolved into such a high art. It's like doing a film, and I have to tell you, shame on the producers. I mean, shame on the game, shame on all of the buyers. Fucking greedy fucks. People, people's careers are giving them their profits, are giving them their livelihood. And yes, it takes an awful lot to develop a game. Yes, it costs a lot to do it. Yes,
Oh, of course.
but do not underestimate the contribution that the actors make and deserve to be paid for and respected and protected. And the arrogance of the industry, which is happening all over in everything, that the actors don't really matter is so insulting to the actors who put their life, not they're not in the army. I don't want to make it be hyperbolic, their life on the line. They're putting their souls on the line. They're putting their energy, their creativity, and they are being asked to do things that are harmful to them physically in many ways. And so it's really very short-sighted of these producers, particularly when they publish. This has always made me laugh. I'd be involved in some movie or whatever, or video, and then you read in Hollywood Reporter, they broke records. They made $300 billion in the first 5 minutes, and then you say to them, "Where's the residuals?" Oh, we didn't make any profit on it. We didn't make anything. Well, and then my feeling is, well, then go hold a fucking bake sale. You're bragging about all this shit, and you're acting like you're the cock of the walk, and then, oh no, we really didn't make a profit. It cost so much to make it. Then get out of business. It's such a joke. How am I doing? Am I ensuring that I continue to work with these statements? I think so. It's shameful. It's shameful.
It really is. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
greedy and gross, but that's the
Yeah.
government. That's where we are now. Elon, fuck you, Musk.
Yeah, exactly.
President Musk. I'm sorry.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Though, no, this is kind of it's kind of like interesting to ask. Now, what kind of like makes, a great voice performance stand out, like as like a voice actor perspective? Can you kind of like talk about like how kind of like maintain like a great voice performance that like can like stand out at that makes any sense at
I have
all?
no idea what you just said to me. I'm sorry, Jake. What are you asking me? I'm sorry.
he's asking like what makes a good voice performance stand out? Like what would you
Oh,
think makes a good
well,
voice
you as
performance?
an audience should tell me. I don't know. I mean, from a directorial standpoint, I think performers need to be courageous and allow themselves to be spontaneous and flexible. What makes a great performance stand out? I don't know, Jake. What stands out for you when you see something? What does it stand out for you that would make you ask that question?
Um, I mean. I mean, it's just in the way that like, how the way sometimes how even like so I mean it kind of like depends how like um how like for example like a legend voice actor just for example like can maintain such like kind of keep like that same exact like voice for after so many years or something like that. That's like wow, like after they can still maintain like
Yeah, like for example, Tom Kenny. I mean, SpongeBob has been going on since, the 90s and still going strong, and he's still able to maintain that voice with what he has to
This
do
is
to kind of keep
this is
that
going to
voice alive.
sound
Yeah.
this is going to sound very strange when I say this, but I mean this with all my heart. It's our job.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Exactly.
we are expected to deliver.
Hmm.
We are trained in many different disciplines, and I think all the confluence of all that training gives us the ability to be consistent in our work. And
Yeah.
that's part of our job. That's part of the talent of the job, and that's part of the integrity in doing the job. So now I understand your question, Jake. So yeah, I mean, that's my
No
answer,
problem.
really. It's our job. It's our job. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
it. Isn't that
Right.
ridiculous to say that? Did you expect that answer? Well, I think add a pinch of pepper. I don't fucking know.
So,
Oh
It,
man.
now what would you
No
say?
good.
What would you say is kind of like the biggest difference between like voice acting in the earlier days versus like today's like industry?
well, first of all, what do you mean by the earlier days? So I understand your point of reference.
So kind of like, I guess from your perspective, like from when you started like getting into voiceover compared to like the industry now.
Hmm. There's so many different lenses that I could look through. Um, I don't know that I can answer that question in a constructive way. Some of the changes are awful, and some of the changes are good, and I think that's the truth for any industry. I think I don't have an answer. I'm trying to be specific and give you something to hang your hat on, but
Right.
I just think I've rolled with the changes. They've been gradual, some of them, and some of them have been
Hmm.
shocking. And well, let's just take the example of video games for a minute. Video games used to be uh, not terribly sophisticated in the script, where people would just
Yeah.
scream and they were about battle, right? Now they're really story driven, and now they're really actor driven, and now they're really very cinematic and very deep and very uh, leveled. And so, because
Yeah, because like video
technology's
games
gotten
back then were just kind of like very simple, like kind of just like short
right,
noises, and now it's, a very
Yeah.
sophisticated thing.
Yeah.
right,
And it's now it's just like there's like so much when it kind
Yeah.
of goes
Like go
to
like
like
overcomplicated almost.
yeah, yeah, but
compare
and
to
I don't
how
know,
simple it is back
overcomplicated,
then
but
was
definitely
kind of new.
multi-layered, and
Hmm.
definitely requiring a skill set from actors that's extraordinary. And so, and writers, that's extraordinary. So I think that's a huge change, and I think it's a wonderful change. Um, there has been a cultural change, and I think that things are reflected from culture to art. And in this instance, I don't like a lot of the what I feel is lackluster, a requirement for dead lackluster reads and performances. I think there's a lot of that that's considered the standard now. But that's just me. I like color. I like language. I like words. I like expressiveness. I'm not interested in uh, a dull, flat line of performance. But culturally, there is a dull, flat line of how language has emerged. And there's they're
Everybody sounds like they're from the valley, and nobody has any color. And you can be in the South, and everybody talks like this. You could be in Chicago, and people talk like this. You could be in Boston, and people talk like this.
so if animation is a reflection of that happening culturally, then so be it. It doesn't make me feel any better about it. I still teach and I love teaching, and I really stress to get away from that shit. That's without color. That's without joy. That's without heat. That's without uh, nuance. Dull. Dull for me. Dull for me. But I can't change that in the world. I just got to keep moving and do what I think is right.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so now, moving on from voice acting side of things. Now, of course, uh, Dory said a while back in the intro. Of course, you also got to be a voice director. Now, like, how did that kind of like came to be? Like, how you kind of like first broke into the
I broke into
voice
it because
directing
I
stuff?
was very discouraged by hearing producers or network people or directors say, um, "You're on too many shows." And I'm thinking, if I'm on too many shows, I'm going to be obsolete. I better start grazing elsewhere. And I did. And I created an opportunity for myself. And I asked people. And Barbara Wright, who was the casting director of Klasky Chupa, where I had been acting, um, knew I was teaching. And she came to watch my class one night. And afterwards, she said, "You should be directing." And I want to talk to Arlene Klasko and Gabor Chupa about you having some opportunity directing. They were not happy with the way things were coming out with some of the voice tracks, and they were willing to give me a chance. And so they gave me a 3 episode chance on Rugrats, the original Rugrats, and it just
Yep.
evolved from there. And then I ended up directing all their products, and I started to branch out and work at other studios. And I'm still very much directing way more than I'm acting, which is fine by me. Um,
That's
I
cool.
love directing. I love it. But I also love acting. Acting is still my first love. Always will be.
Absolutely.
Of
So
course.
now for voice directing, you just mentioned Rugrats. What was voice directing that like as well as the films?
I loved it. It was fun. It was challenging. Um, my assignment was to up the performances energetically and to draw them out further than they had been drawn out. And so I did. And that led to the movie, and then that led to the Wild Thornberries, and then that
Yeah.
led to more movies, and that led to Rocket Powered and All Grown Up and McDonald's and um, 15 pilots that I directed there. And it was a wonderful, creative, thrilling time at Klasky Chupo. It really gave me my chops, my directing chops, and it gave me my wings, and it gave me a sense of who I was in that part of the industry. So it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
But yeah, Rugrats such a wonderful franchise. I mean, a while back we got to speak with the wonderful Cheryl Chase, and she's so great.
She's a doll. She's a doll. And we've been doing the reboot
Right,
with
yeah.
Yeah, uh-huh.
and so great. So
Yeah.
much fun.
Wish
The
there was
writing.
more of that. Wish there was more of that of the reboot.
Say it again.
I said I wish there was more of the reboot because I know
Well,
like
we just finished the third season. It just hasn't found a place to air.
oh, gotcha. Right, because
Uh-huh.
of the whole Paramount Plus thing,
Correct.
them pulling
Correct.
so many shows, old and new.
That's right. So there is, by the way, there's a whole season and beautiful work, gorgeous work. The writing and the same, Kate Boudelier, who was the on the original show, the
Hmm.
writer producer.
Right.
We have Rachel Lippman, who's so fucking brilliant. She was also part of the original production. Um,
Absolutely.
Dave Fressler and Casey Leonard, brilliant, wonderful producers, animators, designers. Um, oh, and we have Mark Mothersbaugh doing the music from Devo, who did the
Yeah,
original.
uh-huh.
So,
Yep,
Yes, who was a
and
legend.
and original
absolutely.
original performers recreating things, and then new performers.
Mhm.
We have Henry Winkler and Swoosie Kurtz and Michael McKean and wonderful, thrilling, exciting performances and people, and it's been a great, great blast.
That's great.
So let's hope it finds a home because it ain't over. We just wrapped the third season, just literally like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Looking forward to that. And of course, for you get to also voice direct, for some preschool series, like Bubba Guppies and Blaze and the Machines,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
right. I did
pretty
those. Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
which is awesome. Um, so now before we wrap things up soon, now I kind of want to ask, like, of course, for you got to be involved in such, a lot of projects with, as a voice actor and a voice director. Now, can you kind of briefly tell like your experience about your experience as a voice actor, kind of influence like your approach as a voice director?
Hmm. Well, I know that as a voice actor, I want my directors to be fast, furious, crystal clear, direct, uh, and know what the hell they're talking about. Um, and don't drain my energy by talking too much and or by there's one voice director in town who we say she makes you get into a rowboat, drive around the lake to get to B. You have to go through the whole alphabet. I so I know what I didn't want to be. Um, I have my own style. I keep it moving. My goal really is I'm hosting a party to energize the room, to keep that going, to keep the actors immediate, to be playful, to be bawdy, uh, um, and to trust my actors, and to also create an environment where not only is it creative for the actor, but it gives the the writers and the animators a sense of comfort because over time they understand that we're giving them really what they want and they can sort of relax a little bit. Because when you first start a show, everybody's so panicked about it being, specifically this, this, this. And a show needs a little time to find its voice. And my job is to create that environment where that voice can emerge, where everybody is feeling respected and honored and playful, as opposed to beaten up and overthought and overcorrected and overused. So that's kind of, does that answer your question? That's kind
Yeah,
of,
Hmm.
yeah, of course.
and from an acting standpoint, I don't want any of that shit. Drives me crazy. Just cut to the fucking chase. Tell me what you want and say it in 3 words or less.
Exactly.
I mean, I
Yeah.
had a director say to me once,
Yeah.
here, so and so and such 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 and such, and I'm up here because I'm recording and my energy's up here and I'm up here and I'm waiting for the punchline, and then I'm going 3 minutes later after this fucking biblical direction, I end up saying, "So you want me to go faster?" Yeah, instead of just saying, "Could you go faster?" I gotta had this whole
Yeah.
explanation. But this is what sometimes happens. And so my job is to keep that from happening. Because when actors are in heat, which they are, and they're resonating at this frequency, and they're immediate to have somebody stop it and then yak and drain the energy. So you're going from 30,000 feet to ground level, and it takes
Yeah.
quite a bit to get back up to 30,000 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. 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 Of course. So now, of course, about to wrap this up very soon. I'm kind of curious. We've been working on now. I know you kind of already said about you just done wrapping the season 3 of the Rugrats revival, but anything else they are allowed to talk about, like anything they're
Yeah,
working
I am.
on now?
I just finished wrapping Creature Commandos, which is James Gunn's show, which is gorgeous on Warner
Hmm.
Brothers. Finished Harley Quinn. Still doing Blaze and the Monster Machines, the ninth season. We're almost done with that. I'm
Wow.
working on Unicorn Academy for Spin Master, which is glorious. We're on the second season. We're just finished the second season, or finishing the second season, which is on Netflix. And I just started the Paw Patrol specials. Um, and I think that's all I'm allowed to talk about.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm
Gotcha.
busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy. I'm happy.
Gotcha.
And I'm home. I don't have to leave the damn house. I'm home.
Right.
No worries at all. But yeah, looking forward to what's more to come and look for what's next store for you, of course.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
of course.
The old boy ain't dead
Yes.
yet.
Yes,
Yes.
us as well. So the last question that Chris is about to ask, so we should ask every guest at the very end. Go ahead, Chris.
Thanks, Jake. So this podcast is called Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. So for you, Charlie, when you think of nostalgia, what do you think of, or how would you define nostalgia?
I think nostalgia for me is just a wonderful sense of comfort and home that I get reaching backwards in time to the things that gave me great joy.
Absolutely.
That's
Wonderful.
wonderful.
Great
Thank
word
you so
said on.
much.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. Thank you, Charlie. This was a
Thanks for
Thank you
blast.
very much,
having me.
Again,
Charlie.
again, glad Eric Casimiro was able to help put us in touch. He,
Thank
you
you,
know,
Eric,
he's the
and hello
best.
to
And
you too.
yeah, this was wonderful. Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks, guys, so much. Good
Yes.
luck with your show.
Thank
and
Yes, and good
all
luck
the
with
above.
all of your future endeavors. Enjoy
Thank
the
you.
rest of your day.
Well,
Thanks,
Chris. Thanks again,
Bye-bye.
Charlie. Take care.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. And it's goodbye from us as well. We absolutely enjoyed our time speaking with the wonderful, amazing Charlie Adler. Links to his website and social media will be in the description down below for anyone who wants to connect with Charlie or check out his work. Done a lot of wonderful things, so we're glad we were able to make this happen. Keep on the lookout for more wonderful interviews coming your way. And as always, what do we say, Jake?
Keep nostalgia alive. Take care, everyone. See you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode. Be sure to follow Jake and the Happy Nostalgia team on social media, check out our website, and stream the show wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And as always, remember to keep nostalgia alive. Bye-bye.